Okay, today we're going to write equations of lines. And today we're mainly going to focus on writing equations in slope-intercept form. And if you recall, that's y equals mx plus b. So let's say we have a line that goes through the point 5, 4 and has a slope of -3. And they want us to write the equation of that line in slope-intercept form. Now, there's two things that you need specifically when you're writing an equation of a line in slope-intercept form. You need to know the slope, and you need to know the y-intercept. Now, in this problem, they have given us the slope. The slope is m equals -3. And so what we're missing is the b part of the equation. We're missing the y-intercept. So before we can write the equation of the line that goes through the 5, 4 and have a slope of -3, we need to know what our y-intercept is. And the way that we get their y-intercept is by plugging in information into the equation y equals mx plus b. So, if you will notice, when you have an ordered pair, you have an x value and a y value. So those are the x and the y that you will plug in into your equation. And then also for m, we're going to use -3. So for y, we're going to say that is 4, because that's our y coordinate. Our m is -3, that's our slope. Our x coordinate is 5. And then we can solve that for b. So we're going to multiply -3 times 5 and get 4 equals -15 plus b. And then we're going to add 15 to both sides, and that would be 19 equals b. So now I have a slope and I have a y-intercept. So I can plug that in slope-intercept form, and I get y equals -3x plus 19. So I just slip our m and our b into those correct locations, and that's our equation of the line. All right, so let's say they want us to write the equation of the line that this time goes through the point -3, and they want it parallel to the line y equals -4x plus 1. Now, if you recall from previous lessons, we learned that parallel lines have the same slope. So if we look at this equation of the line they gave us for this second line, we notice that it is already in slope-intercept form. So we should be able to look at it and point out that this number is the slope. So their slope is -4. So if our new line is going to be parallel to their line, then our slope will also be -4, because parallel lines have the same slope. So just like we did example A, we need to get a b value to write it in the form y equals mx plus b. So here's our x value, here's our y value they have given us. So we're going to say y equals mx plus b. For y, we're going to plug in 3. For m, we're going to use -4. And for x, we're going to use -2 plus b. -4 times -2 is positive 8. So 3 is 8. We're going to subtract 8 on both sides and get -5 equals b. So now I have a slope and I have a y-intercept, so I can put them together. So y equals -4x plus, -5, because it's -5. So there's our equation of our line. And again, parallel lines have the same slope. So I always like to go back and double check and make sure I didn't put stuff in the wrong spot. So I have a -4 slope for the original line, and then for my new line, I have a slope of -4 also. All right, my next example, we're going to do the same type of thing. We're going to write an equation of a line. This one wants us to go through the point -2, 1. But this time it wants us to be perpendicular to the line y equals 1/3 x plus 10. Now again, this second equation is already written in slope-intercept form, so their slope is 1/3. And just like we talked about yesterday, perpendicular lines do not have the same slope. Instead, however, they have slopes that are opposite reciprocals of the other slope. So the opposite reciprocal of 1/3, I'm going to flip it and change the sign. So that would become -3/1, which simplifies to -3. So our slope will be -3. So I take their slope, flip it, and change the sign to get our slope when we're talking about perpendicular lines. So again, here's my x and here's my y. So I'm going to plug that into y equals mx plus b to get my b value. So my y is 1, my m is -3, and my x value is -2. So -3 times -2 is +6. Subtract 6 on each side, and I get -9. So I have an m, I have a b, so I put that in input form, and my equation of this line is y equals -3x minus 5. So that is how you write equations of lines that are with a given slope and point, or how you do it for parallel and perpendicular lines as well.